What is going on, mortals? Mortal T here, and today, as you can see, we're back on some more Biomutant. Today, we're going to be covering crafting materials and the best way to go about getting them. So when I mean crafting materials, I mean the stuff that you have to gather in order to craft your weapons, not the crafting items, which are the items that you use to make up the weapon, but the crafting materials that hold the weapon together, so to speak. It's kind of hard to understand, but if you go into your pause menu and you go down to the gear option, if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you will notice there are a bunch of different pictures there with numbers next to them. These are your crafting materials. So you've got the gears, you got wood, you got plastic, you got rubber, and then you've got like electronics. That's what those symbols mean in that kind of order. So I've got 22 gears, I got 9 wood, 11 plastic, 18 rubber, and 11 electronics. That's the order that I've gone in. So there are a ton of crafting materials that you will need to gather to upgrade and make items in this game. You can gather a bunch of these items just by exploring the map and finding totems. If you don't know what totems are, I've got one right here at the back of me right here. So this is a totem. These are like kind of monuments to like the past in this game, and they're sort of made out of certain materials. There are a bunch of them, and there's a totem for each material. This one is electronics. As you can see, it's kind of made it look like circuitry there, but there are plastic ones, rubber ones, wood ones, and so on and so forth. So once you have found a bunch of these totems, you're just going to go up to them and you're just going to your melee attack, and as it falls down, you're going to gather a bunch of these materials. As you can see, I just got 3 more of those electronics, but there are other ones. There's a couple of plastic ones that I've found right here. Like you said, you just want to go up to them and melee weapon. As soon as you fall down, they'll automatically just give you the resources of that. So that is one way of gathering these materials, but along with certain quests that can also be good for resources. So there are, not all quests do this. Some quests do. Some give you resources at the completion of the quest, which is very, very nice. They don't particularly give you a lot, but they do give you some. But the best way that I have found is by the items you pick up. So the best thing you can do is explore this game in its entirety. Go to little buildings and start looting everything you can get your hands on. To make the loot better, there are ways to do it, to make sure you find like better loot. And if you want to go into your upgrades here, you can actually see on the right hand side you got a bunch of these abilities like your intelligence and strength and stuff. But if you look at the very bottom, which is called luck, at the moment mine is currently on 40. It also gives you an increased chance of finding better loot. So as you can see, my loot chance is 14% better than it is usually, and that's because you've been leveling that up. So if you do want to just go around and find better loot before you actually go on to any like the main quests or anything, I would advise leveling up and putting a bunch of points into luck to upgrade your luck chance of finding better loot. But there is also another option. So if you go over to perks right here, and it literally says luck out. So this will increase your loot chances by 10%. This is, you use one of these dog tags or whatever they're called to, it's only costs 1 and it will increase your chances by 10 anyway. So that's another thing on top of your plus 14% anyway, which will also increase your chances of getting like better loot. So instead of getting like uncommon, you'll get common, and sometimes you'll get rares and everything. So that is also a really good one to buy straight off the bat, just so you're getting better loot, because this loot comes in handy The better loot you get, the more stuff, the more armor and damage and stuff you can actually do with all this stuff. So if you go onto your character right here, just go onto your gear, or you can actually go into your inventory if you so wish, and if you go over to, these are the 5 that you want to look into. Now I've already been around and I got a bunch of loot, as you can see here. These are all the ones that are in my inventory at the moment. As you can see, I have got a bunch of rare going on here, but I've also got a bunch of like common ones, which are not particularly that good, and you're not technically going to use them for a lot of things. Now, a lot of people would just go and sell these so they can get their money up, so they can buy better stuff. But if you're struggling for materials, the crafting materials that are actually below this, you can actually scrap these and turn them into the materials that you need. So if we go over here, as you can see, I'm on the twister one. It is a common. If we just press the Y button, because I'm on Xbox, if you're on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the triangle button. It'll actually come up with what the scrap value of this is. So as you can see there, we'll get +1 cogs and +1 rubber, so you can go ahead and say yes, scrap it if you want to.
Fresh start with
so I
scrap.
have right there. But if you hover over like a rare one here, it's going to give me electronics and wood. Loads of different ones will give you different things. As you can see, this one's going to give me 3. It would give me electronics, cogs and plastic, but I don't want to scrap that one because that's a rare one. What I found that I've been doing, if you just find a bunch of these common ones and just get rid of them, because they're not necessarily going to give you a lot anyway,
Small things
and they're not going to do a lot for the items that you're going to craft. So after that one's done, just go through all these. As you can see, I've got a common here, I've got a couple of commons here. So these are for weapons, but as you can see, I have got a rare one here, and it's actually really cool. So you can actually scrap these. Yes, these can sell for a lot of the in-game currency here. So it is entirely up to you on what you want to sell. So if we go into our range parts here, I've got a bunch of rare ones, I've got a bunch of uncommon ones, but I've also got some like really rubbish ones like this. So you can scrap that, and as you can see, we're going to get electronics and stuff. I've also got a legendary drum magazine, which is awesome. But if I wanted to scrap that, this is what I'd get. So I'd get 1 electronics, 1 cog, 1 polymer, which is plastic, and 2 rubber. So the better rarity is, it seems like you get more crafting materials off them, which I am not going to scrap that. That is going on a gun that I am going to build. But all your uncommon ones, you're going to get little amounts. But if you are basically just exploring the world to its fullest and just finding a bunch of loot, and you have a bunch of loot that you know you're never going to use, you just scrap it immediately, and you're going to build up these materials super quick. So I'm in my melee base types here. As you can see here, I'm getting quite a lot just for this common one, which wasn't actually very good. Yet again, I have got a legendary one here. We can actually see what the scrap value is. So as you can see, I'm only getting 1 of each there, which is plastic, rubber and wood. This one, because it has like a biohazard one on it, it's actually going to give me more, but I'm not scrapping it because it is a rare and it is like a 2.5 star, which is actually really good. So yeah, like I said, just go through them. I'm going through them right now with you, just to tell you what you basically can get. I've got this, it's a 1/2 star, it's common. I don't think I'll be using it. I only get 1 cog for it, but I'm not really too fussed. I've got a short pencil here. I don't know why I'd use a pencil, but for some unknown reason, I'm going to get 1 electronic, 1 plastic and 1 rubber. Yes, I'm getting rid of that. We got a bottle opener there. Where's it gone? Am I ever going to use that? Probably not, so you can just get rid of it and just go. You just want to take a deep dive into everything that you are not going to use. It is the best way to get your crafting materials up. And once you have got enough, as you can see, I've got a bunch already at the bottom there. As you can see, they have gone up. Now you can go into crafting and you can craft armor, or weapons. So you've got a choice of your melee weapon and your ranged weapon. So if we go into our melee weapons here, now once you start crafting this, it will tell you in the middle of your screen how much materials it's actually going to cost. So if I start with if I start with this legendary, as you can see, it's going to take 1 wood, 1 plastic, and 1 rubber there. So we're going to start off with that. We're going to add a handle, which I've got a couple of legendaries here, which is actually really cool. So I'm going to try and go for the most damage here, which is this one. But yet again, it's going to cost 2 gears, 4 wood, 2 plastic, and 3 rubber. So if we equip that, and then we go on to the add-on. If we add something else on, doesn't matter what it is, I usually go for the most damage, which is this one. We add that on, and this is the full crafting cost. So it is 5 cogs, 6 wood, 3 plastic, 3 rubber, and 2 electronics. And now you can press the craft button if you are happy with your weapon, or you can just go back and discard all the changes and start again. It's exactly the same for your melee weapon, for your ranged weapon. So you're going to start off with something good. These tend to have a lot more parts to them and tend to use a lot more of your crafting materials. As you can see, I'm already using 3 cogs, 3 wood, 2 rubber, and 2 electronics. As we add on to this, this is going to get a lot more expensive as we go along. So it looks like I'm actually creating some kind of handgun here. But I'm going to put my legendary drum on it, as you can see there. We're going to go to the last one, and then we're going to choose the barrel. That just looks so cool. But as you can see, it's gone up dramatically. So now I am using 10 gears, 4 wood, 2 plastic, 7 rubber, and 7 electronics. So that is why you need all these crafting materials, so you can craft a better weapon for yourself. But Mortals, that is the way I have found to get these crafting materials the best way, and possibly not the fastest way, because you do have to explore a lot, you do have to get a lot of loot, and then you have to go through the loot you have and scrap it to get these materials. But this is the best way that I have found to get your hands on these materials, so you can upgrade your weapons or just craft new weapons. So Mortals, I hope this helps you out, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.